Good afternoon, everyone. This is Christian with PerfectStockAlert.com, a 100% free service for smart investors and traders. All we ask in return, please refer a friend. Today is Wednesday, it's September 26, 2012. We're going to be looking at three different charts today, and we're going to start off looking at the Japan iShares. This one we've been talking about for a while here. The nice move to the upside. Let's point out a couple of details here. First off, you got this high point, you get a higher high, and then yet a higher high again. You get this low point, a higher low, and a higher low forming somewhere in here right now. Again, so what we're seeing is clearly defined as being an uptrend. We have no questions or qualms about that. And what we're going to do is be looking for a way to trade that trend to the upside. We could pull back a little more, I suppose. Anyway, so what we're looking for is a bottom, some situation there where we can be buying. Now we had this massive move to the upside, not a lot of money on that trade. Pull back here. Now we're touching off on the middle Bollinger Band line, and we are trading up still above the 50-day moving average. We're coming close to it. Typically in an uptrend like I've just drawn for you here, you can see that you find support on that 50-day moving average. So again, we're looking for that bottom. Also, you're at 39.07 on the ultimate oscillator. Once she gets down to the 30 line, she gets into extremely overbought conditions there in many cases, especially when you're in an uptrend. So that's an important factor to note. We're looking for a test of the previous high and pay attention to this major resistance line as she extends out and we continue to move higher. She can continue to touch against that again and again. So that's a trade that I'll be keeping a close eye on. And also you can keep an eye on this actual little channel you've got here. We talked about this earlier this week. When we get a close above that, that would be a confirmation buy signal there, and you could set the low as being the 1 cent below the low would be your stop loss limit. So that's something to keep an eye on. The next chart I want to look at would be the UUP, or the U.S. Bullish Dollar Index Fund. What we're talking about in this one, we talked about a couple weeks ago, is a little bounce reversal signal here. She starts moving to the upside, but I told you I wouldn't trade it to the upside because she is in a clearly defined downtrend, and I want to trade with the trend, not against that. And therefore, in this particular case, I said this bounce here will give me an opportunity to go short, not something I want to buy. So we have made this little bounce here within this channel. We're starting to get a shooting star signal at the middle Bollinger Band line where you would be expecting to find some resistance. That's what you typically see in a downtrend. And you're up there now at 62.3. At 70, you're getting extremely overbought, right? In a downtrend? Okay, so that's something to be keeping a close eye on. You could actually be taking a short position here. The reason why I haven't marked the chart and said, okay, I'll be short here, because where do I set the stop? I'd have a problem with that if I attempt to do that. If I go short now using today's high, then my stop would be right here, and it would be very easy for me to get stopped out intraday activity, and then we move lower anyway, so then I would lose out big, even though I was right. If I set my stop way up here off the previous high, which would make a lot of sense, you'll notice, we'll talk about that in a minute, you'll notice here, in this case, I've got a great deal of risk on the table comparative to my gain potential here, so I'm not going to make that trade either. The one thing I would point out here, note this high point, and then this high point that we currently have, and they're trending down. At the corresponding time period of the ultimate oscillator, high point here, and then the current higher high here. This is trending up. This shows there's great sell pressure still involved here in the U.S. dollar. That makes a lot of sense, being that the Fed's just going to be printing money left and right to try to prop up markets. This guy is going to continue his downtrend, obviously. So that's something to think about. But again, I just because of the way it's set up, I would have a hard time shorting this unless I was going to keep a really tight stop, and then it would just be a matter of luck if I happen to be, not stopped out the following day. So right now, it's just something to keep an eye on. It's also indicating that you should be looking for a reversal in the markets. In other words, when people start selling stock, they end up effectively buying the dollar and driving it higher. When that peaks and you get a situation where people are say, okay, I'm going to stop buying the dollar or stop, in effect, acquiring the dollar, then you start to get a sell-off in the other direction. So when this one breaks to the downside, the markets will break to the upside. Just something you should be paying attention to. If you've not been to the free website at PerfectStockAlert.com, it's right there. It's 100% free, and all we ask in return, please refer a friend. Also, you can find these charts and many others, actually with my personal annotations on them on the website there at the free website. You can check them out whenever you like. They're updated every single night, all of them by at least 5 p.m. God bless. Take care. See you in tomorrow's video. Please take a moment to review our disclaimer. The information provided herein is our opinion only. Under no circumstances do any statements here represent a recommendation to buy or sell securities or make any kind of an investment. You are responsible for your own due diligence. To summarize, we do not provide investment advice, nor do we make any claims or promises that any information here will lead to a profit, loss, or any other result. These videos are for educational purposes only.